grand rising, powerful beings. It's the holistic motivator, and I want to talk to you about how to let purpose drive you and purposely driven. And what that means is, what wakes you up every day? Do you wake up just to get by, or are you on a mission? Do you have a vision? Do you have somewhere you want to go and you're growing to go there, growing to enjoy the road there? Or are you just going through life? Do you wake up in the morning excited about going to work, or do you wake up in the morning dreading living? If you wake up dreading life, then are you really living? If you wake up having a heart attack because you're about to go to work, do you want to do that for the rest of your life? So I woke up with this on my heart, and I wanted to share it with you. So keep tapping in the Ed Talks Daily. So let's go. All right, so we're going to talk about purpose, y'all. And I had the intro playing. By the way, share this video to 5 friends. This is both a podcast and a live video. So I'm doing it for the podcast and a live video. So you'll be seeing me doing it in podcast format. Share this video to 5 friends. And if you're listening on the podcast, send this a text message to your friend with this episode. All right. So purpose. How do you wake up? Comment in the chat. How do you wake up? How do you wake up in the rising? We got the rooster. The rooster say how he wakes up. The rooster say, I wake up and I let the world know that I exist, or I let the world know that I'm moving, or I'm just moving. I'm just who I am, and I let the world know. The rooster wakes up with vitality. The rooster's like, let's go. So I'm asking you, do you wake up like that? Maybe yes, no. If you don't wake up like this, then are you waking up like Beyonce, or are you waking up like a powerful being? Are you waking up like Cardi B? How are you waking up? It's not about, a lot of times we hear the songs, we're like, man, I woke up like this, my face. But it's about, I woke up like this. How's your spirit? When you wake up in the rising, do you wake up like, yo, let's go? Or are you like, oh man, I gotta go? You know, that sounds like you gotta use the restroom. Some people say like, I'm like, yo, let's go. You know, sounds like I'm going to a party on an adventure. If you're like, man, I gotta go, sounds like you don't really want to do that. So I know I'm making light of it, but this is real stuff. I'm telling you, I haven't experienced that, but I know a lot of stories of people who've lived out the wrong life for 30 years because they just got comfortable and they didn't find their purpose. It's not that they didn't have a purpose, they just didn't find it. So tap into this. So this rising prime, shout out to Liz, shout out to Trey, shout out to Karina, shout out to you, Zamora. So this rising prime, I was talking about a roach. So back here, like there's a lot of roaches in the dirt, like deep in the dirt, like outside. You'd be like, outside roaches? Yep. And they big. And I was just like digging up the dirt. There was worms, roaches, all types of creatures. I was like, what? The soil got worms, roaches? I'm like, okay. So why do you think the creator made roaches and worms and bees? Right? They all have their purpose. They keep the flower, they feed us. We be eating what they feed off of. We feed off the food that the creatures help grow. And we take it from the ground that they supply the nutrients to by going through it. So the roaches also eat up leftover food all over the place. And this is good for cleanup. This is like having That's like having that's nature's garbage man. We need to show respect to nature's garbage men and women. I don't know if they're female or male. But anyways, we need to show respect to the roaches. Because even the roaches have purpose. Even the roaches have purpose. So how come you think you don't have any purpose in life? That's not true. You have a purpose. You have a reason. And I'm not comparing you to a roach. I'm going to the lowest of the bottom of the spectrum. Everybody want to step on one. How come you think everybody want to step on you? You're not a roach. You're a powerful being. You're a spirit. So coming from a place of the highest is you. And the lowest of the lowest being a roach. The roach, I heard, can survive an atomic bomb, hydrogen bomb, can survive bombs and still survive. We could be extinct by a bomb that roaches might still survive, technically. Guess what? Roaches can survive harsh circumstances. They're in the dirt. They're going through their dirt. That's who they are. But guess what? We can't see ourselves as a roach, as something that people put aside, as something that God put aside and didn't put a purpose in. God put a purpose in everybody, from the sentient being to the roach. Mind you, I'm not comparing you to a roach. I'm comparing the highest to the lowest, and you're the highest. So what I'm saying is, if you think you're not worthy enough, dismantle that belief, right? If you think you're not good enough, if you think you don't have a purpose on this earth, if you really believe that, I want to say that you are lying. Now that's confrontational, but I want to say that the false you is lying. By that I mean, there is a devil inside of you that tries to convince you that you're not enough, you're not good enough, you're nobody, you'll never be anything, and God has abandoned you like a roach. I'm here to say to you that you're not a roach. God has not abandoned you. And you're still, if you're living and breathing, you could be purposely driven. If I'm living and breathing, I can be purposefully driven. I want you to say that. If I'm living and breathing, I can be purposefully driven. If I'm living and breathing, I can be purposefully driving. You have to be purposefully driven and driving on purpose. You have to be purposefully driven and driving on purpose. What I mean by that is, most of us, we drift through life, or at some point in your lifetime, you've drifted, or different sections where life pulls you aside, you have drifted. So because of that, we think we are drifters, but truth is we're not drifters. We're actually captains of our destinies. We're the captains of our ships that leads us to that destiny. But the thing is, we think we're drifters because we've drifted. Sometimes we drift away from the way we know we should go, but that doesn't mean you're a drifter. I like to tell people, say, I've drifted in my life. Now I'm living on purpose. I'm setting a purpose, and I'm going to go towards it. This is the only way you can change your life, is to not identify with what has happened and identify with what could be. Instead of focusing on what should be, do the things that will get you to what could be. And when you do that, how do you do that? Man, you have to start to first, if you don't have enough self-confidence, confide in you. If you don't have enough self-confidence, if you don't understand that you are a creator, which you are, what happens? Then how can you confide in a vision? How can you confide in a God? How can you confide in something greater? How can you confide in a mission? How can you have confidence, confide in other people? How can you even trust that when you go out there and say, here's my dream, here's my gift, that people would accept it? If you don't start from within, it's hard to go without. And then you keep going through life without what you really need. That's just a fancier way of saying that you got to dig deep and see that you are a powerful being. So we have to start with that. Why are you a powerful being? First of all, every cell in your body is actively working. You can create, you can attract things with your mind. Like everything that has been created, sprouted from a human mind inspired by God. Now, not everything inspired by God, but the tools of God have always been used for everything that's created, either ways. So even if I have malicious intent to create something to kill people, let's say whatever warfare material, I still need to go to the earth to get the metal. Everything sprouts from the earth. So at the end of the day, no matter what you create, you thought about it and you found the resources on the planet and you turn those resources into your creation. So somebody says, man, I like this purpose talk, but I can't find my purpose. I don't know my purpose. I just go to work, boom, boom, boom. There's a reel I put out. I was like, if you feel like you're stuck in your head a lot, then find something to get excited about. Find a passion. Now, your passion is from the gift that you have. It sprouts out of your gift. Imagine somebody gives you this fedora hat and it's really cool, right? I've been rocking them hats. And you're really enjoying your hat. If you really, somebody gave you a gift, you got to be excited about it. That's the passion. Now you turn that passion into, how do I turn this hat into a way to benefit or help others or enlighten others? I could just rock it and be me. A lot of us, we think we got to start to sell the hat. No, you just got to rock it and be you while wearing the hat. So what do I mean by that? God gives you a gift. Instead of saying, man, I need to sell, like, oh, I don't have a purpose. I'm living like all you need to do is and love the gift and wear the gift and practice on the gift and cultivate it. You know, clean the hat, you know, do what you need to do to make sure it stays fresh. It stays clean. It stays stimulated. So a lot of us, what do you like to do? So sometimes your job is just a current, it's a tool that you're blessed with so that you can work and cultivate your gift until your gift becomes your profession. So what do I mean by that? God blesses you with a job because he understands that you have to cultivate your gift so you can get ready to master, love the hats enough so that you can develop enough knowledge about hats so then you can create hats. And because the Lord in his infinite wisdom has it that way, sometimes he puts us in playing grounds or learning grounds called jobs. Sometimes these jobs teach us the habits like being on time, you know, having a task, completing it, customer service, teaches us how to deal with other people in the business world, teaches us an overview of how business works. You get to see front hand how to deliver a product to the world, no matter what job you have, which is you can use that as a platform to build the skills to then put your gifts and serve it to the world. That's your purpose. How do you do that? First, you can't just have a job without and then you can't just have a job that gets you paid with money and not have a passion that gets you paid with pride, that gets you paid with the feeling of I accomplished something, having a passion that gets you paid with the enjoyment of it. So we can't just have a job that gets you paid in the bank. We have to have a passion that gets you paid in your spirit. What uplifts you and drives you. When the two merges, you live in the life. I'm living the life, right? And I'm slowly learning how to build the business abundance side of it to match the lifestyle, to match what I feel inside. I need to have outside what I feel inside so that way I can bless others more. Because my whole thing, my purpose is to help others, bless others. How? I just want to be, look, I started just sharing who I am. That's it. You watch a podcast, all I'm doing is saying, this is me and this is what I care about. This is what I've learned. These are my experiences. And you tap in. That's it. I'm not doing nothing different than just sharing with you my gifts, my skills, my talents, my abilities, what I'm passionate about. And because of that, it resonates with you. And sometimes it inspires you. Sometimes it's like, yo, let's go. I'm pumped. Yo, the holistic motivator, I rock with you. And I rock with you too. I love you too. So because I do that, I just share my gift. Now you care. Now you like, man, I want to invest in his gift, or I want to be able to get the transformation that his gifts provides. And because of that, you're like, man, let me sign up for the tribe. You're like, oh, yo, let me buy a t-shirt. Or you're like, let me go to this class or learn more. Because now you've seen, I've given you, shared my gift. I'm just being myself. You now say, man, this is beautiful. I take that in. It's an experience. That's all I'm doing. You can do the same thing. Whether you paint, whether you garden, whether you're good with people, whether you're good with your hands, whether you're a speaker, whether you're a teacher, whether you teach yoga, whether you're a vegan cook, whatever you do really well, it's a gift. And when you're able to use that to serve others, it becomes a purpose. So whatever you do well is a gift, like that you really love and do well. God gives you these gifts, and people are like, man, how come gifts be so like gifts is something that you can invest yourself in, it's not a means to an end, it's the means itself that you get the benefit for. So just by doing this activity, regardless or not if I get paid for it, I'm still really like I'm blessed for being able to do it. So you get what I'm saying? Regardless of if I get paid for this activity or not, I'm still really blessed because I got to do it. So like doing this podcast, regardless if I get any compensation out of it, I'm blessed anyways. If I do a Rise and Prime session, regardless if anybody shows up, or regardless if I get any external benefit, I get the internal benefit of priming. So what am I saying, y'all? When what you do is the benefit for doing it and not what you get for doing it, you have found your purpose. Let me repeat that. I want you to write this down. I want you to really tap into this. When what you do is the benefit for doing it and it's not what you get for what you do, you have found your purpose. It's like if you would say, I would do this for free and just the benefit, internal benefit would be my reward, then you've found your talent. You found your gift. You found what you should invest your life into. And if it meets the gap, if it helps other people, no, that's the passion. When that same thing is used for the serving of others, that's the purpose. That's the other one I'm missing. The passion can just be, I found my gift and just doing this gives me joy and love, and I love it. I would do it for free. A lot of people are in passion and they get income from it, so they're passionate, but then they still have a purpose. They still add the purpose, but they're not focusing on the purpose. They're just loving the passion plus getting the rewards, but they're not focusing the purpose, so they still have an emptiness. It's like, this is my passion. I love the reward, but I still feel like something is missing. Why? Because you're not focusing on the purpose. You're focusing on the passion only. You're focusing on what you get internal. Even that can become something that you only go for the internal reward of doing it or the external benefit of doing it, but not for the sake of helping others. When it's for the sake of helping other people, you start from a spiritual place and God just helps you more. Because now you're not just going for you, you're going for the people, and God is for the people. We're all one. So guess what? When you do it for the people, you get a different anointing. The anointing comes from within. You get an it factor. You get an extra light. What you do has an extra impact. You can tap into and help people more and get more benefit out of helping people, both monetarily, both from a standpoint of what you get in life. Good things happen to people who do good things. As you do, it shall be done unto you. So, if you put out good stuff, you're going to get good stuff. If you help people feel good, you're going to feel good. So I wake up excited every day. Every day I'm excited. It's like, and guess what? It's not super media exciting. It's not like I'm taking trips to Cancun. It's not like I'm going water skiing all day. I'm finding joy in the simple things in life. I'm just in my backyard. I'm vibing. I'm living the life. I want to impact more people. Every day I'm thinking like, man, God blesses me every day because I use my gift. So there's a story that says there was a master who had 5 or 3, 4 servants. Let's say 4. And he was going away. And the master was going away, so he had a lot of pieces of gold. And at that time, a piece of gold, or whatever it was called, a talent, it was called a talent, was worth about $1.3 million if it was in today's money. He gave him a piece of gold and he said, I'm about to go away, so I'm going to give you 4 pieces of talents. Take them and make sure they're safe when I get back. He gave another guy 3 pieces of talents. He's like, oh, yo, I'm going to give you 3. So apparently the master was playing numbers. He was like, let's do a test. So then he gave the other guy 2 talents. And then, but he gave this guy 1. So master goes away. Master's just like, all right, I'm going to go on the trip. When I get back, make sure you got my talents. Now, master didn't tell him go multiply, but God told him to multiply. God told him to work. God told him to cultivate. It was an innate thing. Go and cultivate the earth. So sometimes you don't need somebody to tell you to triple your blessings. You just need to understand that if God blesses you, be a blessing, right? It's just an innate thing. Now, if you forgot, here's a kind reminder, just reminded you, boom. So the master said, okay, boom, master went away, master came back, and he was like, okay, you had 4 talents. What did you do with them? So the guy said, I took your 4 talents, and I'm smart, I'm economical. I listened to the creator, and what I did with those 4 talents, I went away, I invested them, I came back, and I got something like 8, right? Maybe I'm messing up the numbers. Check the word for the exact. And then he was like, okay, I gave you 3 talents. What did you do with them? He's like, okay, I took the 3 talents. I went away and I turned them into 6. He's like, what did you do with the 2 talents? So I took the 2 talents. I turned them to 4. Then he asked the other guy who had 1 talent. He said, what did you do with 1 talent? He said, well, I took the talent you gave me. I went to the backyard. I buried it. Here it is, safe and secure. Nobody tainted with it. And then the master said, so I gave you the talent and you went and you buried it. You did nothing with it. So the master, well, guess what the master did? The master took the talent and he gave it to the person who had 4. Now, why would the master give it to the person who had 4? Because you didn't appreciate the talent. You didn't use it, so you lost it. So whatever you don't use, you lose. So who's the master? Right? Not some guy, right? The master is spirit. The Holy Spirit is God. So now, if you're blessed with 2 talents, 3 talents, 4 talents, 1 talent, it's best that you use it because you're going to be blessed with more. Right? I started with a couple of talents and I had to sprout for other talents. But what if I told you I was mute till I was like 3? I couldn't speak. What if I told you that I was like the quietest kid you could ever meet? What if I told you that English is my second language? What if I told you that I didn't start learning English till I was like 9 years old? What if I told you that I was mentally if I was in the US, they would have said I was mentally retarded between the ages of 0 to like 4? What if I told you I was remedial before I started to grow and so I worked harder to get myself up? What if I told you that where I came from is not where I'm at? But what if I just told you since I was a kid, I always knew I was going to do something great? And when I knew that, my peers told me that. I got confirmed by the universe. Then my awards told me that. The accomplishments, what I did told me that. I just said, I knew I have a purpose. So now I'm talking about myself, but I'm saying that when you start with a purpose early on, no matter where you're coming from, you're going to get to a high level because you're using that one gift that God gave you. And guess what that do? God blesses you with more gifts. So when you use the gift that God gives you, even though you think you're starting from a place of defeat, he's only leveling you. He's only making you stronger and better and wiser. And like, yo, you overcome and now you have a story to tell. Glory be to the Lord. As we do that, we are able to say, hey, listen, you have that power too. If I can do it, you can do it. That's what it is. That's what keeps the cycle going. So at the end of the day, your purpose doesn't even have to be anything. Your purpose can be to just use your gifts, multiply your gifts, and be a gift. If you just do that, God will multiply your gifts. And guess what? You will be gifted throughout your life. You will be blessed. And just your testimony alone will be a gift to others. Automatically, you will be serving others by being yourself. As soon as you decide that I have a greater purpose in the world, I can do something greater with my life. No matter where I came from, I couldn't speak. I couldn't speak English, but now I speak to people in the masses. I will reach millions of people. And when I pass away, I will reach billions of people. I will continue to touch lives for the rest of humanity because I multiplied myself into media by just being myself. And you can do the same. No matter what your gift is, a practical standpoint is just cultivate your gift. If it's that garden, cultivate your garden and show it. And then now sell the fruits of the garden or share the knowledge of how you cultivated the garden. All our gifts are like gardens. We have to plant seeds in those gardens, our minds. And then as we cultivate it each day, we water it, we cultivate it, we add fertilizer, we make sure that the conditions are right, we watch our environments, we pluck out the weeds. When we do that, we grow, we get to the next level. Now people are like, yo, I remember you 4, 3. How did you evolve? What happened? I just cultivated my gift. And I just kept sharing the gift and sharing the gift and sharing the gift. All you got to do is keep sharing the gift and sharing the gift. You don't stop. If you stop because you don't reap the rewards, guess what? The gift is the reward. The mission itself is the reward, not the result. That's what keeps you growing. A lot of people stop because automatically I didn't reap the fruits. How long does it take to cultivate the fruits of your garden? Some trees take months. Some take weeks. Some have to be sprouted. Some can be planted directly to the ground. Your garden is not in the schedule of all other people's gardens. So you might see me and you're like, yo, I want to be you. Stop doing that. Don't want to be me. Be you. Because your garden is being cultivated at your own pace. Your garden has its own cultivation period. You have to make sure that you are tapped into your own garden and its cultivation period. Stop looking at the crops of other people. Grand Rising, Mia. When you look at the crops of other people, you are focusing on they and you're not focusing on you. And because of that, you're not cultivating your garden. You're looking at theirs, trying to steal their fruits. Stop doing that. You stay in your garden, plant there. Guess what? Soon enough, you're going to bear your fruits. But the gardening itself is rewarding. That's what passion, that's what I'm talking about. When gardening is the reward, it doesn't even matter if you get the fruit. You're like, I love doing this. I've been gardening. You see me, I'm just in my, in my gardening stage of my life. I've been sleeping outdoors. But when you gardening, you have to make sure that you are not necessarily just focusing on when you're going to get the fruit. You have to love on the plants. Come on. You got to have a certain love for your plants. You got to see if their leaves are like draining, if they're droopy, if they're, then you got to feed it. You got to see if there's too much sun, too much water, check the soil, check your environment. If you put a tree in a environment that is good for other plant but not good, like for instance, somebody says the soil is too wet and it's bad for this plant, but for this plant that's a water-based vegetable, needs all that water, it's like thank you, thank you, thank you. The other one is like, yo, that's too much, back up. So you can't put yourself in their soil. We put ourselves in their shoes and we try to ground ourselves, wondering why we're going shaky through life. What I mean by that is you have to ground yourself on your own soil. But the foundation of that soil is the essence of God. So you are like sand and soil within the whole earth, within the whole consciousness, the global consciousness of God. And out of you sprouts a representation of God, as these trees represent God, as the eagle represents God, like the lion represent God. All of these, God places qualities of himself. Some people say herself. Who's to know? The combination of both into us and into the plants, into the animals, into the. I'm watching nature videos. I'm seeing these creatures. They have colors. They can see in different spectrums that we can't see. The colors are so beautiful. They dance. All of them to get a mate, they gotta dance. They dance for the mate. They show off their colors. They show off their talent. Those creatures to get a mate, all they do is show off their talent. How come when we try to get a mate as humans, we don't show our talent, we show our body or our booty? The creatures show their beauty, their talents, their colors, their innate gifts. Like I was looking at some of the butterflies, looking at some like frogs, birds. They all have different ways in the animal kingdom to get a mate. They showcase their beauty, right? And as they showcase their beauty, that's how they get a mate. That's how they reproduce, by showcasing their beauty. Catch this drift. To reproduce yourself is not necessarily to make yourself again, but to put pieces of yourself in the works that you put out. Yo, I'm telling y'all, if you look at me and you really believe that this message is coming from me, don't listen. But if you really believe that what I'm saying makes sense and is true and you feel it in the heart, then take it and go with it. Because that's how I changed my life. I listen from the heart, and I know when something was real. And I know this is real because I am learning from myself. I'm learning from me. I'm tapping into my higher self. Every time I do this, God blesses me with gifts. I'm telling y'all, this is happening as we speak. I didn't speak, so how can I put my words so well together? I didn't even speak English. How did I do that? Blessings from God. So what I mean by you are part of the sand, as soon as you recognize it and you said, man, I am a child of God. I am made in his image. I am a representation of God. I can be co-creative with this creator. Come on now. If you can be co-creative with this creator, why are you acting like you got no power? You're so powerful. I need you to, come on. You see I've been wearing green? The army print? Well, first of all, listen, we might have to go back to nature, so I'm making sure I get on point. So if we got to lead ourselves back to the earth, I can help out with that, you know? So I'm just courageous, army mode, strength, courage, effort, strength, right? So I've been really focusing on grounding myself, having my root chakra, safety, security, really. So I've been wearing a lot more green abundance. And plus, I've been outside, so this is a good way to camouflage. But anyways, this explains my green fit. But that's besides the point of what I was saying. I was saying that you have to ground yourself on the earth. And you have to understand that you are part of a greater being. That's when purpose sprouts from. I was saying, if you don't believe in a higher power, you can't be spiritual. Because that's the only way we can all be connected. That's the only way it makes sense. So somebody says, I don't agree with that. Well, blessings unto you, my brother. We don't always have to agree, but we can share our perspectives. So you, at some extent, if you really believe that you are a spirit, then where did you come from? And where shall you return? And if you are a spirit, why would your source leave you astray? Why would you be left astray and left the scum of the earth like a roach and be blessed with all the manifestation power of the divine? When you sleep every night, you go to the divine, you have communication in your sleep. You wake up with ideas and you could visualize in your mind from that thinking. Your mind can create things out in the world. Your words can transform. I can send off my energy through a camera while I'm in Florida and I'm touching a piece of your spirit. Because it touches my spirit, so I know it touches yours. Because I'm coming from a deep place. If God blesses you with the ability to touch another human being, to create stuff, to empower people, to uplift a generation, come on now. You are blessed. You are highly favored. You are a child of the Most High. Act like it. When you rise up, you got to rise up. You got to feel it. You got to be like, let's go today. We're going to have an amazing day. Let's get this life popping. Who can I touch today? Who can I impact today? How can I be a better son today? How can I be a better daughter today? How can I be a better human being today? How can I transform my being today? How can I elevate my spirit, elevate another spirit? How can I work on me? How can I attract prosperity? Wake up like that and you will start purposefully driving your life. Purpose starts with acknowledgement that besides you, you have a greater purpose, you have a reason for being. The workforce tries to enslave you, but God always, his determination for your life was to free you. The same gifts that is bottled up as your job can be expressed, you could pop the cap and celebrate that gift as your own way of contributing to the world. You can either work at a grocery store or you can become the grocery store. The reason why we work at grocery stores is because if you like groceries, God is saying, learn about this grocery store and cultivate your gardening gift and bring out those groceries. It's a training ground for your gift. So what I'm saying for you today is, if you really look at the theme of your life, a lot of the things you did for free that you loved, you did to get paid in some fashion, but you only got paid for their vision. You didn't get paid for what you wanted to do. So now you didn't find the purpose in it because you were being used as a cog in the wheel. So you mistaken what you're good at for being a burden when it can be a service. Did you know that the same shirts you could have sold at Ross as a clerk, you can knit and love knitting and help somebody feel good? And you would love the benefit of serving. Why would God give you a knitting gift? Somebody said, that's not a gift. I need to be singing. Well, people need sweaters. Duh. Now we got machines to replace the gifts. AI is coming, so they're going to try to replace your gift. But I want to let you know that your gift cannot be replaced by a machine, because you add your own spaz to it. Just like every butterfly or every creature have a different thing, you too, my friend, you have a different spaz. You have a different swag. And you pop it like you rock it. And you got to see it from that point. Guess what? A lot of people talk about what I talk about, but they don't talk about what I talk about the way I talk about it. Because I'm the one and only holistic motivator. And that's right. And this is my message. I'm sticking to it. I am confident in what I say. I know it is the truth because it touches my own spirit. I feel it. I feel it deep in my gut. And I know that it touched you. So if it did, share the video to a couple friends, right? Subscribe to the podcast. Support the same. Give that same energy back, right? So leave a comment. However you can support. You could donate to the podcast, edtalksdaily.com, or Cash App, edtalks. So you can support the podcast. Subscribe to the podcast, edtalksdaily.com. And listen, you have purpose. If a roach has purpose, a sentient being like you definitely have purpose. And you're not a roach. You're not the scum of the earth. You are the priest and priestess of the earth. You are the kings and queens. You rock. You can create. You can impact. You can move mountains with your words. You can cultivate your spirit and attract exactly what you want. You can free your family. You can free your people from generational curses, from financial lack. You can transform your life, y'all. You got to believe it. It has to sprout that you're not alone. You're not doing this by yourself. You are a piece of the divine. You are a piece of the divine. You are a piece of the creator. You are a co-creator, co-creating with God. So act like it. So don't act like you're weak. You are powerful. You are amazing. You are abundant. You are full of life. You are full of love to give. So give that love. Let it sprout. Let it come out of your spirit. Don't hold it back. Let the works and words of God flow through you every single day, and wake up with power and conviction. It's going to be a great day. And ask yourself, who can I serve today? That's my message. I'm sticking to it. Y'all stay blessed, stay in your power, and I will see you back at 10 a.m. tomorrow in the Rising for another Rise in Prime session. So, thank y'all for watching. Pleasure to serve you.